What else? Let's see what else we got. Anyone else have a question?
I was wondering what you think about the use of mushrooms or adaptogens in general for
Hmm.
mold illness. I know it's sort of a perhaps a newer topic
Hmm.
that I've been reading about. Uh,
Um, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, I mean that's really it. I think psilocybin is particularly what um, I've read is beneficial for mold illness, specifically psychologically.
Okay. So that's a good question. My thoughts on mushrooms and other adaptogens for mold illness. I have not um, read deeply on this, so with that caveat, I'll answer. But with what I know about medicinal mushrooms and some of the benefits of various ones, they could have a role in mold illness. So you had mentioned the psilocybin, which I'm not going to try and write with a mouse. um, but if we say mental health as it goes with mold illness, yes, the psilocybin. So is it PSY or PSI? We'll
Oops.
just abbreviate to psilocybin. Um, could be beneficial for the mental health roles or the mental health symptoms in mold illness, as could lion's mane, because if you're having specifically lion's mane would be more beneficial for, say, focus issues and or brain fog type issues, because lion's mane promotes brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which helps neurons uh, wire together better and more efficiently. And so if you've got chronic neuroinflammation because of mold illness, that can be, uh, metaphorically pruning your neurons or gumming up the connections and promote forgetfulness or difficulty focusing and or brain fog type symptoms. As far as immune effects, so cordyceps and wow, it's sloppy. Sorry, cordyceps and reishi, also known as Ganoderma, reishi mushrooms. These two are very helpful in promoting the Th1 side of the immune system, which is the anti-infection, specifically, antiviral, anti-cancer um, side of the immune system. And so, although obviously mold is fungal, not viral or cancer, so to speak. When mold impacts us, it often swings the immune system away from a Th1 bias more towards the Th2 or Th17, which, if this sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook, I've made videos on immune phenotypes, so check those out. But chronic diseases often swing us away from Th1. And so a way to push back or bring the pendulum back to balance is to promote a Th1 response. And so again, the cordyceps and the rishis can help with that. And then from an adaptogenic standpoint, the cordyceps is a big one there as well. Um, because cordyceps, adaptogens work to help balance the autonomic nervous system and help deal with cortisol and modulate it. So if it's too low, it can help raise it. If it's too high, it can help lower it. And so depending on where the person is in a mold illness type of journey, they might if they're earlier, cortisol may be too high. If they've been in it and they're more chronic, it might be too low. So cordyceps could help um, modulate that. So
Sense. Makes
that's
me always
basically.
think of that show, The Last of Us.
I remember the show. I didn't watch it.
Oh, you should.
Okay. Will it ruin it if you tell me what it makes you think of?
Well, just fungus and mushrooms. No, but it's very disturbing, but worth
Yeah,
seeing.
gotcha. And we've made videos on mushrooms before, and Jennifer put a link in the chat on a healing mushrooms book that's worth reading. Um, but someone might say, well, why would you use mushrooms in mold illness if mushrooms are, can be moldy or, are in the fungal family like mold? Um, the reason is that, not all molds are the same or not all fungi are the same. And again, different ones have different impacts on the patient. Now, there is a form of, if we're talking about SIRS, which I've made a video in the past about SIRS, which stands for chronic inflammatory response syndrome. And SIRS is can be caused by mold. Mold is one biotoxin or inflammagen that can drive SIRS, but it can also be caused by bacteria called actinomycetes. It can be caused by fungal fragments called beta glucans. And this is where the medicinal mushrooms, could potentially flare a person with mold illness. Okay, so we need to be careful with that. Because Dr. Richie Shoemaker and his right-hand man, Dr. Andrew Heyman, Dr. Heyman has gone a long way in the research to show that beta glucans might be responsible for up to 23% of SIRS cases, or people who think they have mold illness. It could actually be beta glucans. And beta glucans are fragments of fungi, okay, or fungal cell walls. And so you may have an immune supplement with 1,3 beta glucan in it, and 1,3 beta glucan is immune stimulating. So in the right context, the beta glucan, that specific beta glucan, could be good for someone in the right context. But in someone with mold illness, or if they have SIRS that's actually being driven by beta glucans, if they take a mushroom that provides beta glucans, or a supplement that has, uh, beta glucans derived from mushrooms or other sources, that might flare the person. And so they say, oh, that made me worse. That's bad. Well, for that person in their context, yes, but for the person next to them that is a different case and not mold illness but cancer or something, the beta glucans might be good. So again, we have to think about the individual and say, just because in general mushrooms might be good for mold illness, if the person with quote unquote mold illness actually has mold illness symptoms, but it's caused by beta glucans, they might flare using the mushrooms. So if a supplement works or doesn't work, that's a clue. If a drug works or doesn't work, that's a clue. If a diet change works or doesn't work, that's a clue. We need to look at the individual and the feedback that their
Okay.
body's providing.